Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Grid Buzz podcast, where we will be doing our sector times and star signs for the Austria GP. So the Austria GP is known for its high-speed layout and configuration. A number of teams this week have brought upgrades, including Ferrari, which there's quite a bit of buzz about their upgrade. Red Bull has also brought upgrades to the weekend and has also alluded that this is a strong chance that it might be their last upgrade, or at least last major upgrade of the season. Sauber has also brought upgrades, and Mercedes has brought upgrades. So a lot of upgrades over the weekend. Will be super interesting to see how that plays out. As we know, with upgrades, they can go well, they cannot go well. You know, Ferrari has had upgrades last year that did not go well. Red Bull had an upgrade last year that did not go well. McLaren, typically when they bring updates, has been on a good path. Sauber had a good upgrade a few GPs ago and is bringing another upgrade. So it'll be interesting to see how that all pans out. Will we see the performance of those upgrades during Austria, or will it take them a weekend to kind of dial things in? I don't know, but it's definitely going to add some mix-ups to the field and add some excitement heading into this weekend. In terms of past performance at this circuit, Red Bull has dominated their home circuit, the Red Bull Ring, with Max Verstappen. Specifically, he has, I think, 5 victories here and has won most of the races under this generation of cars. You know, McLaren did kind of come into the picture last season. Mercedes also came into the picture at the Austria GP last season. Before that, though, under this generation of cars, it was pretty much the Ferrari and Red Bull show here. So will we see Ferrari and Red Bull kind of revert back to the mean after some upgrades this weekend, or will we see McLaren and Mercedes continue to stay competitive? If I were to guess, McLaren obviously will continue to stay competitive. Mercedes is a little bit iffy. You know, they're bringing updates, but their car doesn't typically do well on warmer circuits, and it's supposed to be a bit warmer this weekend. So we will see how all of that shakes up. But that is a quick intro to the Austria GP and giving us a recap of the Canada GP. We both scored 2 points last week. So your drought of not scoring a point since the first race of the season is now over.
I'm out of the dry spell.
Out of the dry spell. So hopefully continuing down that path. Hopefully the vibes are up and here to stay for the remainder of the season. We both got a point for Kimi Antonelli placing top 5 and obviously even ending up P3 on the podium. I also got a point for predicting Pierre Gasly's worst race of the season, where he finishes with a outside the top 15 finish, which did happen. And you predicted that there was going to be multiple kind of major events during the race or incident that would lead to some significant just implications in the championship. I don't know if there was like multiple big ones, but we did have the very big one, which is Lando Norris v. Oscar Piastri, and the teammates finally battling on track and it ending exactly like a lot of people speculated it would, with one of them in the wall. Unfortunately, that being Lando Norris, and unfortunately, that's severely disrupting his chance at a World Drivers' Championship. He's definitely a step down now, but 2 points. And yeah,
closing the gap.
Anything else to comment on from the Canada GP?
Yes. We need to have a moment of silence for the groundhog.
For the groundhog. Pour one out for the groundhog.
Pour one out for the groundhog. Poor guy.
Poor guy.
Just trying to live his best life, have a front row seat, get in all the action.
And just get splattered by Lewis Hamilton in his Ferrari.
Okay, that was way too graphic. We didn't need that. That was the adjective that none of us needed.
All right. Well,
he passed away. It was very quick, and hopefully there was no suffering. But still, very sad.
All right. Okay. Moment of silence for the groundhog. All right. Well, yeah. Unfortunate for the groundhog. It's kind of surprising though that given all the groundhogs that are always around there and running across the track, that this is like the first time that that's happened. But definitely unfortunate that it happened. But yeah, we are now in the Austrian GP, the Red Bull Ring. And who do you have as your surprise performance this weekend?
My surprise performance goes to Daddy Alonso, Zaddy of the grid. Are we surprised?
You're picking him a lot lately for good performances.
Yeah, I mean, he gives good vibes.
All right.
He's got wisdom. He's got experience.
He does have experience. That's for sure. He's 40-something years old, still driving an F1 car in circles.
Yes.
What do the vibes say? Why is Fernando Alonso showing out at the Austria GP?
I just feel really good about this weekend. I feel like he has his ups and downs. He's down, but I feel like now's the come up.
I mean, yeah, he's had two good finishes in a row. He's had some good races this season, not really any good finishes until the last two races. So he's on a streak of luck in his what has been unlucky season to this point. So is that continuing? We're going for the three-peat on Alonso?
Yes. The theme of this week's picks is momentum.
Momentum. All right. So you're momentum trading on your picks this week.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. All right. Well, I am also momentum training with Nico Hülkenberg. So Nico Hülkenberg, I am predicting. Actually, yeah. What is Alonso? What is surprise performance? Like, what is that?
Surprise performance, top 5.
Top 5. All right. Fernando Alonso in the top 5. I am going with the momentum pick of Nico Hülkenberg in the top 10 again. Obviously, that Kick Sauber has been a very poor car at the start of the season. I think pretty much unanimously agreed the worst car on the grid. Although Nico Hülkenberg drove it, decent during qualifying, and then they brought an upgrade a couple GPs ago. Things have seemingly shifted quite a bit. Nico Hülkenberg, 2 GPs in a row in the top 10, which I don't think anybody would have predicted that would happen at the beginning of the season. And I think that my surprise performance is that Nico will pull a three-peat this weekend, put it in the top 10 again, and solidify maybe Kick Sauber as a solid midfield team and no longer the backfield marker that we thought of them as very recently. But moving over into my flop. So I guess maybe I'm momentum trading my flops as well, because I picked Pierre Gasly to flop last week, or not last week, but last GP in the Alpine. And now I am picking another Alpine, sticking with the Alpine momentum. And I think Franco Colapinto is going to flop. So, obviously he came in, replaced Doohan a few races into the season. There was a lot of speculation that he was on kind of a 5-race contract and he needed to perform, and he really didn't do that, even though Flavio Briatore, kind of at one point backtracked and said he wasn't on a 5-race contract. Although I saw a kind of press release this week that says that his 5-race contract is being extended. So I think, I don't know, between all of the things that said he was and then backtracked, and now kind of more press alluding that he once again was and it's being extended, I think that probably was true. With that, I don't think he's out of the hot seat. He's only had one good performance. So Canada, he performed at a decent level given the car that he was in. But picking that he drops back on similar form this weekend that he was in prior to the Canada GP. And so I'm going with Franco Colapinto, also with a outside the top 15 finish at Austria. Who do you have flopping at the Austrian GP?
Okay, so I actually retract my statement about momentum for this pick specifically. This is the one and only one. But I picked George Russell.
George Russell. All right. Yeah.
As the flop. I don't think he'll make top 5.
You don't think he'll make top 5? All right, so George Russell outside the top 5.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a flop though.
Top 8.
All right, that's a flop. That's a flop for George Russell and Mercedes.
Okay, but going from first.
Yeah, but George Russell's finished inside the top 5 like quite a bit this year.
But going from first to 5th, that's kind of like it's an ego.
Yeah, I mean it's a reversion for sure, but I don't know that we can call it like a flop.
I'm just trying to get more points. I'm just trying to get more points.
What about if he finishes P7 or lower? We'll call that a flop.
P7 or lower?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Right. So we're giving you a little teaser on this one.
This is
since you learned about what teasers were last night in sports betting, we're giving you a teaser.
I wouldn't say I really learned, but I listened.
You're teasing George Russell.
Teasing him. Okay. Yeah. So that's my flop. I think he obviously had a good race.
Very good race. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Very good race.
I'm unimpressed. Just kidding.
The only person who's not Max Verstappen or a McLaren driver to win a race this season.
Yeah. No, he did have a good race. Get your outfits together, George. Maybe I'll figure out a way to not put you as my flop.
All right. So the white pants are putting him in flop territory.
Can't trust a man in white skinny pants.
Can't.
I actually he's exotic. Where's he from?
He's from like the UK. I think that's probably the only more like vanilla place you could be from than like the United States.
Yeah. Okay. No, my comment still stands of what I'm about to say. You can't trust a man in white skinny pants.
All right. So George Russell in his white skinny pants is flopping at the Austria GP.
Sorry,
Moving
George.
over into pole position. So I will kick this one off. I'm thinking Max Verstappen. They're bringing updates to the car. Hopefully, they get some good correlation on track. I know that they've had a little bit of issues with correlation in their updates over the last season and a half, and some speculation that started to go downhill after Newey left, which seems to make sense given timelines and everything that's happened. But Max has been just fantastic at this track. He's been extremely dominant. And obviously this is Red Bull's home track, the Red Bull Ring in Austria, which basically makes it synonymous with Max Verstappen's home track and the Orange Army and all of that. So the home favorite is showing out on pole position this weekend. What about you? Who do you got on pole?
I have Oscar Piastri. On pole. And this is going back into the momentum. He's been really, really good at making pole position.
Yeah.
He's pretty consistent with that. So I'm going off of momentum and consistency, pole position this weekend.
So Oscar is just going to continue running away with the World Championship is your pick, or well, at least your pole position pick. But let's move over into our top 3 then. Who do you got on the third step of the podium?
Kimi.
Whale tail choker, Kimi.
And I hope he wears that.
You hope he wears that?
Yeah, I think it's his good luck charm.
I mean, he's been pretty locked in with it the last few weeks, so I feel like he will.
I think it's his good luck charm. I think, yeah, I mean, he made 3rd position last time.
Yeah.
I think this time he'll do it again.
Back to back.
Got to keep that confidence up. Keep that whale tail around your neck.
So George Russell down, Kimi Antonelli up.
We're doing a little mixy matchy.
All right.
Yeah.
I like it. I am rolling with Charles Leclerc on the third step. On the third step of the podium. He's had pretty good form here in this generation of cars, with the exception of last year. Ferrari didn't look as good, but generally speaking, he's had good form here. Ferrari's bringing some updates. They are much better on their race pace this year than they were last year. And yeah, I'm feeling a Ferrari rise, which I've also been feeling since 2007 and hasn't happened, but it's here. They are.
Are you manifesting?
They're gonna pop. Ferrari's going to pop. I can feel it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You just have to keep putting it out in the universe. You have to see it. You have to visualize it. You have to think that it's happening. You have actually to live the fact that it's happening. That's how manifestation works.
I had a dream about Charles Leclerc on the third step at the podium specifically last night.
Well, then I don't get points.
I'm not necessarily a big dreamer, but I'm a dreamer,
you don't remember
I guess.
Your dreams ever.
Well, I just more mean that dreaming about the third step of the podium isn't necessarily dreaming that big, but
beggars can't be choosers.
Yep. All right, second step. Who do you got?
Oscar.
Oscar on pole, but Oscar not winning the race.
Correct. And this kind of goes. I'll just skip to the good part of who wins. Max. I think Max is gonna win because Max is consistently winning at this track. It's like his track at this point. But I think Oscar, he's gonna get pole, so at least he'll get something. And I think he's gonna be right behind Maxie.
Right behind Maxie. All right, so Oscar Piastri P2. I have got also Piastri P2. Same thing. I mean, I think Max home race, pole position will kind of lock out the front row with Piastri, but hold it and bring home the victory for Red Bull. But yeah, Piastri I think finishes P2, continues to extend his lead over Lando Norris, and he already has, a pretty sizable lead over Verstappen at this point, but Verstappen closes his gap to Lando Norris and Piastri technically, but has a while to go. But at the end of this race, Lando and him might be a little bit neck and neck if things play out how I am predicting. So Max Verstappen on the top of the podium, Piastri on the second step, and Leclerc on the third. Moving over into crazy predictions. My crazy prediction is continuing on the Hopium theme of Ferrari popping off this weekend, and that's with a Ferrari gets 2 drivers in the top 4, which has not happened this season. They've had, I think, 2 instances of them in top 5, but they have not gotten both of them in top 4. And so my crazy prediction is they bring an update to this circuit and get 2 drivers in the top 4. What is your crazy prediction?
Mine is similar to that, except Red Bull.
Red Bull top 4?
No.
Oh.
Red Bull top 10.
All right. 2 drivers in the top 10. So riding the Yuki wave.
Come on, Yuki. You can do it. You can get top 10. You can do it. That's... Come on.
Yuki and his not backflipping self because he's not Sam. If you haven't seen Yuki talking about why he can't do backflip, I would highly suggest you look up that TikTok because it's great or real, whatever platform you're on.
TikTok will be easier for you.
All right. So Red Bull, 2 cars in the top 10. Where have we come where the reigning World Drivers' Championship of the last 4 championships, that the second seat is so cursed that a crazy prediction is that they will actually get 2 cars in the top 10 on the weekend.
If Yuki can do this, I will be the happiest.
Be the happiest?
Yeah.
If he gets a P10, you'll be just through the roof.
I'll be through the roof.
Be through the roof of excitement.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Will you buy like a Yuki Tsunoda driver jersey? Not that excited.
I'll buy something. I don't know what, but not that.
All right. Well, that is our predictions for the week. We will see if the momentum trades pay off or don't pay off very soon. And we will be back with our race review and driver ratings later this weekend / next week. So stay tuned, and I will see you all later.
Bye.